I go through a lot to write this show, and one of the most difficult parts of the writing process is deciding what to write about. Several times I've written up a script that simply didn't have enough material for a whole episode, so that's what this episode's for, to give my take or opinion on these things in small chunks without trying to stretch them out. But first, a short general favorites list just in case some of you might ask. Favorite game? Jak 3. Favorite TV show? The Simpsons. Favorite movie? Well, that depends on when you ask me, though I'll likely answer with one of these, and even then I won't commit to only one of them. Favorite musical artist? Queens of the Stone Age. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get to the good stuff. Doctor Strange wasn't an incredible film. Sure, it had a good cast, good performances, and astounding special effects, but the writing wasn't totally there for me, and Marvel's problem with most of their MCU villains being uninteresting or a near carbon copy of the protagonist persists in this movie. It was a fun watch though, and a nice break from everything else going on in the MCU. I'd give it a B-. Fallout 4 was a disappointment. It's not a bad game by any means, but when compared to Fallout 3 and especially New Vegas, it feels like more of a shooter than an RPG. I actually ran out of stuff to do in the base game after about 70 hours of playtime. If you like it, more power to you, but I'll stick with New Vegas. Sony has gotten complacent with the PlayStation 4. Their ludicrously big initial lead in sales over Microsoft's Xbox One has made them a bit too lax with bringing exclusives to their platform, and the PS4 Pro merely upscaling most games to 4K and lacking an Ultra HD Blu-ray drive has put it behind the capabilities of the Xbox One S, which is $100 cheaper and is able to do almost everything that the PS4 Pro can do. We'll see what the Scorpio has to offer against the PS4 Pro, but something tells me that Sony may have played the 4K card too soon. The Dark Knight Returns is still a culturally, socially, and politically relevant story over 30 years after its original publication. Just take a look at the civil unrest here in the United States that's been unfolding in the last few years, and especially the country's near 50-50 division during the election and the results thereof. Futurama was better during its Fox run than its Comedy Central run. The stricter regulations imposed on Fox for being a broadcast network forced the creative team and writing staff to get more creative with their humor to let the dirtier stuff into the episodes, and as such made the show just that much more clever. Being a cable station, Comedy Central has looser restrictions and, as such, Futurama was a bit more in your face with some of its humor. It certainly didn't help that more of the Comedy Central run was used as a soapbox for various issues than the Fox run, but with issues that were so time-specific that the episode or episodes in question were often dated by the time they aired. So Season 1 of the Daredevil Netflix series made its way to Blu-ray this week for the low price of $30. I was about to pick it up, but then I learned that there were absolutely no bonus features outside of simply being a physical copy. While I like physical copies, I love them more than digital because of a plethora of bonus features. So Marvel, Disney, Netflix, what was the point of releasing this Blu-ray if it offers nothing substantially new? Season 9 of Scrubs wasn't that bad. Its biggest issues were that it was called Scrubs, followed on from what I would call a perfect series finale, and only consistently featured 2 previous cast members. In all honesty, it should have been a spin-off show. To this day, SpiderMan II has yet to be topped as my favorite superhero movie. While the CGI is noticeably dated, the writing and characters are fantastic, the performances are astounding, and that train fight... wow. Trilby actually did a breakdown of that whole sequence some time ago, and I definitely recommend you watch it. The Wii U has now officially ceased production 4 months ahead of the release of the Nintendo Switch. While it is sad that the console failed spectacularly in spite of an overall pretty good library of games, I hope Nintendo has learned all the lessons they need to learn from their missteps with the Wii U. So far, they got the marketing thing right, but if the rumors are true and the Switch still isn't as powerful as its competition, then third-party support will likely ignore the platform if not Nintendo as a whole, somewhat similarly to when Electronic Arts ditched Sega and the Dreamcast back in the 90s. Thankfully, Nintendo hasn't had as many missteps leading up to the Switch as Sega did leading up to the Dreamcast, but as we know, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Alright, that seems to be about it. Next time, a single topic for the whole episode. Seriously. I promise.